Hello.
Hello. Hi. Okay, I think you need to be in the center a bit because now you're at the side. Okay.
Cannot change background, this one.
Cannot. Oh, it's like that only.
Okay.
How are you? Good.
Okay, good. Just finished my
Lunch.
lunch. Yeah.
You cooked yourself?
Yeah, I cook half, my wife cook half, and I'm baking a cake right now, so should be ready like in another 10 minutes.
Wow. I also want to bake a cake, but I don't really have enough of equipments and stuff like that. But I see people sharing recipes on Facebook. Wow, this cake
Buy
looks good.
buy
Cheesecake looks
online, buy
good.
online.
Buy
Buy the recipes online.
Yeah, I also scared to buy online too much because I try not to order things online and then come to my house. Then I scared because I scared the courier service also, sometimes they see too many people, then they contract, then they don't know, and then we
Yeah,
gonna
probably,
yeah.
yeah.
So how has MCO been to you? Good.
Okay lah. No big difference.
Zoom meetings,
Yeah.
Toastmasters.
So this one I cannot share to my Facebook page, is it? How do I share
Can
to my
you share from Property Queen Facebook page?
share from Property Queen? Let me go Property Queen.
Correct.
So far I do see some people use StreamYard lah. What is the major difference between StreamYard and
BeLive? Oh, okay. So for StreamYard,
yeah. Let me go Property Queen.
correct.
Okay, cool. We are now live already. Now I share.
Yes, everyone can see us, but we can just talk casually first before the session start lah.
Yeah.
Warm up first. Actually, StreamYard was introduced to me by Peter, our mutual friend.
Okay.
Peter suggested StreamYard, you can use it to go live. You can connect it to your Facebook, your own page, or your personal page also can, your event page or whatever page also can. It's just that if you want to go premium, to remove the logo, to go premium, then you have to pay. Yeah. Same like BeLive, but BeLive they give you like 2 weeks free trial, I think, if I'm not mistaken. 2 weeks free trial, yeah. Then after that you also have to pay. Like if you use their services, you can add your own logo and all that, but after 2 weeks you have to pay. USD 25, I think.
USD 25.
Per month.
Okay, I posted in my timeline already.
Thank you. I hope we get a lot of questions today from the viewers. I do hope.
Yep.
So you and your wife share the chores of cooking every day?
So if she cooks, sometimes I will make sure I wash the plates and whatever. Yeah.
That's the best way to go.
Yeah. But we don't cook every day lah. It's just a need. Yeah. If possible, then we cook.
I see.
Because it's quite troublesome also lah. You cook, then you use so many things, and then after that you need to wash some more.
So you order out as well?
Yeah, order as well. Yeah. Tonight we won't cook. Tonight we'll order. So
I try not to order lah. I'm from Penang, Penang girl.
Yeah.
But now in KL lah, because I'm working in KL.
Oh, okay. Property Queen is the one at this where the star is, right?
In KL? No, we are the other side. Filio Damansara 1, because the star is Filio Damansara 2. So we are at Filio Damansara 1. In Penang, we are at Lebo Hajar Rema.
Lebo, no idea.
You know the expressway? Lim Chong Yu Expressway. Once you get down from the bridge, you go through the expressway. Heading towards town is on your left. Very easy to catch this one.
Okay.
Yeah. So you are from KL?
No, I'm from Ipoh. But I
for
was in Penang
MCO.
for 15 years. Penang for 15 years.
Oh, then now you're in?
KL, six,
Oh, now
six
in KL.
years in KL already. Yeah.
I see. Okay. Cool.
2 more
Oh,
minutes, right, to
yeah,
start.
2 more minutes. Yep.
We have about 31 people viewing already.
Yep. I hope there's more. It will
Yeah.
slowly come in. Because we haven't started on the topic, so they won't come in so soon.
Yeah.
How's everything at Toastmasters? Okay?
Okay.
Meetings as usual?
We just have a meeting few days back. Yeah. With Uganda people, with Australia guests. Yeah. Quite.
So international meeting lah. Quite good, huh?
Yeah, because it's Zoom. So nowadays it's international already. Yeah.
So you guys sign up for Zoom? Because I heard now they only give you 40 minutes for free, and after that they charge.
Yeah. So now it's back to 40 minutes. So for a while it was unlimited, but now back to 40 minutes. So you better sign up if it's for business use. So what happens is that Toastmasters, how some clubs are doing is that 40 minutes. Then when it reaches 38 minutes, they will just have a break and then come back. Yeah, after that.
Oh, so you guys have 2 sessions. So this session finish already, then just log out, then come in again.
Yes. That's what they were doing. Yeah.
Smart.
But that day we didn't need to do that. No idea why. Probably that day still okay. But now they really back to 40 minutes.
Yeah, because now the users increase already, so more people.
Yes.
Okay. It's 2.
Cool.
Okay, so I'll start first.
Yeah.
So hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to Property Queen TV Live. Now with me today is Mr. Charles Tan. So let me introduce to you who Mr. Charles Tan is. He is the founder of copyandproperty.com, the CEO of 10 Auctioneers Sdn Bhd, an international sales trainer, speaker, and the founding member and committee for iAuthors Club Malaysia. He had been featured on a TV series about investments before and shared his experience through his talks for over 52 events across Malaysia and Singapore. And it is our pleasure today to have Mr. Charles Tan with us to talk about why Penang is the first place you should buy a property after MCO. Yay! It's just us clapping. Then our viewers are clapping at home. So, Charles, can you tell us why buyers should consider Penang property after MCO?
Actually, I tell you a story I told someone many years ago when I was still in Penang, right? Okay. So there was this one particular time when someone told me, "Hey, Charles, actually, why do people buy in Penang? They should buy in Singapore." Then I asked him, "Oh, so are you buying in Singapore?" Then he said, "Yes, I will be buying in Singapore. I don't think Penang will be worth buying. I think Singapore is much worth buying." Then I asked him, "Okay, so Singapore is far ahead, right?" He said, "Yeah, Singapore is far ahead." Then I asked him, "So how far ahead do you think Singapore is?" He said, 20, 30 years probably, easily. Then I said, "Yeah, and this is the reason why you should buy Penang." He looked at me. I said, "Yeah, this is the reason why you should buy in Penang. Because Penang is 20, 30 years behind." Which means that if you are looking to invest, this is the best place to invest. Why are you investing in a place which has already appreciated so much and they have become a developed nation, and where the property prices are not going to increase like 6.4% every year, right? If you're looking at property as an investment, and if you're looking at Penang as an island, which is something like Singapore, and if your thought is that Penang is behind Singapore, then it should be investing in Penang. Yeah, and always remember that islands always have that particular special compared to a city, right? So if you're a city, you can keep increasing in size. Of course, people will say, "Hey, Penang also increasing in size. We have a reclamation here and reclamation there." Very true, right? But island remains an island. It's unlikely that you can reclaim until Penang is part of mainland, for example, right? So this is something that we may want to have in mind. Plus, Penang is not possible to develop the whole island, right? There are hills, remember? There are like if you drive to Teluk Bahang, you know that it's a winding road, right? So it is unlikely that you are going to develop the whole Penang, as in every part would have building, right? So places that you can develop, generally in Penang, if you understand, is already developed, right? Pulau Tikus, for example, how are you going to increase Pulau Tikus size? You can't increase Pulau Tikus size unless you tell me about the redevelopment. So redevelopment will be whatever old things in old buildings in Pulau Tikus, you reconstruct, redevelop, and build something new. Then probably, yeah. Otherwise, Penang will always remain an island, right? And this is one of the key reasons why if you're looking to invest over a long term and you love an island where there's industrial parks, which you can have your kids working there, there are universities, which is just a drive away, right? Hopefully by then, number of cars won't be an issue. We will have the LRT lines and all the new connectivities, but this is something which will continue to evolve. Yeah, and look at all the states in Malaysia, right? Think about all the states in Malaysia. How many states are that whenever there's a holiday, you will think, okay, let's go and visit that state. Penang is certainly one of them, right? Not all states would have that attraction. Penang is one of them. Of course, for KL people, for Johor people, Malacca is also one of them. But generally, on the northern region, Penang is definitely one of those places which everyone and anyone, right, would have visited. We have many Malaysians who have not visited some East Coast states. Yeah, we have. Tell me how many Malaysians have never visited Penang. And I tell you, this is not a Malaysian, right? Whether it's for the halal food like the mee udang, if you have eaten the mee udang, it's very nice. Or the usual char kway teow, or the usual Hokkien mee, right? All this you can't run away, right? Or the famous chendol, which is now the whole Malaysia has it. Yeah, all these are some of the attractions that only Penang have. And let's not forget, Penang is also the one of the places where all the engineers go to, right? So even my brother, even my brother-in-law, they are all engineers in Penang. There's a reason why they are in Penang, because of the opportunity, right? If you are talking about electronics, for example, Penang is definitely at the forefront, right? Yeah, of course, if you say, hey, Charles, I want to go into finance, okay, if it's finance, then it has to be the capital city, Kuala Lumpur, right? But if you're looking at electronics and manufacturing, tourism, for example, or even private hospitals, Penang has it. Yeah, Penang has it. And then we look at the connectivity. Okay, so the first year that I started in Penang, the first time that I went to Penang to work was in July 1998. Yeah. Were you born already?
Yeah, born already. 6 years old.
So July 1998 was the year I went there, right? At that time, there were no Kapal Singh Drive, right?
Correct.
At that time, the Penang so-called international airport, the international word there, I also don't know whether it should be international or should not be international at that time, right? At that time, right? Today, it is really international, right? There are no time when you visit the airport that you don't see any foreigners, none, right? So it's like an international airport already. But at that time, it wasn't. So you can see that even though they say, Penang, all the roads almost the same, not much changes, there are changes. There are a lot of changes. It's just that because you stay in Penang all the time, so you feel there are no changes, right? For a foreigner like me, someone from outside, move into Penang and stay there for a long time and then move out of Penang, when I look back, oh, there has been changes. There was no UNESCO heritage city, right? When I first arrived, there was none, right? That even those Chiu Jetty, whatever jetty, anyway, my surname is Tan. I've been to Tan Jetty. I hope they have improved Tan Jetty tremendously, right? So at that time, those jetties is not even a place that you would think, hey, I want to visit, right? Today it is. Yeah, today it is. So these are some of the things that has already happened, and people may may if they look back, then they understand, wow, yeah, there has been changes, right? Even Gurdon Mall was not that big. Even Queens Bay Mall does not exist. There was no Queens Bay Mall, right?
It was just an abandoned building. Yeah.
When I was there, the biggest mall. What was the biggest mall there when I was there?
When you were there in the island, I think Island Plaza. Right?
Sunshine.
Sunshine.
Yeah, so Sunshine is one of those places that I will always go, right? Because there's no other many choices I can go.
Correct.
Yeah. So there are definitely changes. So if you're looking at Penang for the next 20 years, so I was in Penang for 15 years. If you're looking at Penang for the next 20 years, a lot more will happen, right? A lot more connectivity, a lot more international flight will fly in because the Penang International Airport is currently being expanded even further, right? All these will continue to happen, yeah? And if all the northern states continue to improve, then you will already know they are going to be supporting the Penang state. You know, unfortunately and fortunately, the more urbanized states will always be getting all these people from the neighboring state. Yeah, you see, when you graduate, right? When you graduate with your first degree, do you stay in your hometown or do you move to a capital city? Do you move to a bigger city, right? If it's in Sabah, for example, they would move to Kota Kinabalu, right? If it's in a northern state, most of the time, the nearest state that they go to for the number of jobs, for the better jobs, better paying jobs, will be Penang, right? Of course, if your comparison is, hey, but KL gets more. Of course, KL has to get more, right? But if you're looking at just northern region, after graduation, Penang is a natural choice. I'm from Perak. Penang was a natural choice for me. Yeah. So all this would continue to happen, and this is a key reason for property investment. Let us understand that for property, right? One of the very, very important thing is people, right? People means population. Population doesn't mean having more babies. If we rely on just 9 people having more babies, it will be very slow, right? So population is also people from outside. Tourists come in. When tourists comes in, they need accommodation. Accommodation means someone needs to buy a property for them. All these are property investment. People move to Penang, like me. When I moved to Penang, I have no houses there. I need to buy a property, right? Then when I get married and I have kids, I have to buy a bigger property. So the property investment is always the people portion must be there, right? And so far, okay lah. Penang continue to attract a lot more tourists. Except currently probably no one ever flies. Yeah, but generally it is happening. Yeah, it is happening. Yeah.
Correct. So my next question to you, because Penang, in general, people will only think about the island, Penang Island. Nobody will think about mainland side of Penang, because I'm actually a mainland girl. But you know how Penang is, they like to segregate. You from Pahai one, you from mainland one. Different, you're not from Penang. But do you think people should actually go across the bridge, have a look at mainland, start investing in mainland?
Yes. So in again, property investment, fortunately and unfortunately, it will always start from the advanced place first, right? The more popular place first, right? You just imagine, let's say Georgetown, right? And Batu Kawan, yeah? Today, if Georgetown is the same price as Batu Kawan, which one would you buy? Today,
I would buy Batu Kawan because I see Batu Kawan gonna grow lah. I can see Batu Kawan growing.
Price, but same price.
Then Georgetown, right in the middle.
Correct. So if you look at Kuala Lumpur, for example, right? Kuala Lumpur KLCC, right? And Sungai Buloh, right? Same price. Sungai Buloh KLCC, same price. Which one would you buy first?
KLCC.
Yes, right? So, What happened is that all these popular places, all these very, very famous places, they would have to be famous and they would have to be attracting a lot of people first, right?
Right.
Island has attracted a lot of people. And this is the reason why Island has increased in price, right? There is
Right.
already a price difference between a mainland and island property already, right? You can never find island property for 500,000, which is a landed property. It will be very hard, right? So some would no lah. I can find in Balai Pulau. Yeah, but Balai Pulau is not your main choice. Right? Even if you look at Sungai Ara, for example, right?
Yes.
500,000 for a landed, you must be joking. There are none. Yeah, there are none. And we are not even talking about Pulau Tikus lah, right? All these Jelutong lah. We are not even talking about that. We are talking about Sungai Ara. And this is already happening. So what happened is that the island would increase the price until a certain limit, right? And then the mainland will become attractive, right? So the question is, the people always ask me, so will the not so famous places increase in price or not, right?
Right.
The question is incorrect. The question is incorrect. The right question is, will the popular places increase in price? Because if the popular places increase in price, some of the people will soon cannot afford. When they would have to look elsewhere. If I tell you, if today everyone in Penang can still afford to buy in Pulau Tikus, you think Sungai Ara can sell the properties, or you think everyone is in Pulau Tikus?
I think everyone will be in Pulau Tikus.
Yeah, or Tanjung Bunga, right?
Correct.
Or Straits Key. Who would buy Sungai Ara if Straits Key is the same price? Think, right? But Straits Key and Sungai Ara, there's a price difference, right? That is the reason why people think, Straits Key so expensive. Sungai Ara, not that bad, ma. Can also lah. Near Bridge lah, right? Near Queen's lah. Can lah. Can. Yeah, near airport lah. Can lah. That is why Sungai Ara so go up, lor. Right? When Sungai Ara go up, what happened? Then the Teluk Kumba also start to go up, lor, right? Teluk Kumba start to go up, what happened? Maybe Batu Maung lah, Teluk Bahang lah, right? Balai Pulau lah, one whole round come back lah.
Correct.
Yeah. Property is always like that, right? The most important is the center. The center become expensive is the sempadan, the marginal places, and then further. Right? This is property investment. So the question of Batu Kawan is not on Batu Kawan. The question of Batu Kawan is on whether island will continue to be popular or not. If island continue to be popular, your Batu Kawan investment is going to be safe, right? Unless you tell me everyone now they don't want to buy Penang anymore, then your Batu Kawan sure koyak, sure cannot buy, right? Yeah, but if you still continue to love Penang Island, then mainland is definitely going to go up, right? But of course, the closer one would be Butterworth first, and then if Butterworth is really cannot make it anymore, then they buy further, yeah, and then they arrive at Batu Kawan, right? Yeah. So this is what is happening lah, and of course, Batu Kawan will also have to have their own catalyst lah. Right, so they are trying to have their own catalyst, like the university there, right? The
IKEA,
IKEA there. All these are some of the catalysts lah. But this catalyst is pull factor, right? You need pull factor and you need push factor. Yeah, push factor is Penang lah, Penang Island push factor. They push people out, and then you pull people in. So when both acts together, you have an awesome investment.
Cool. But then also there are people who mention that Penang itself is overpopulated. What do you think about this statement?
Actually, if Penang is overpopulated, then Macau is even more populated. Singapore is even more populated. Hong Kong is even more populated. In fact, Monaco is in France is overpopulated. Population is not depending on the number of people. It's depending on the infrastructure. Can they support or not? So you see, for example, in KL, right? I think all of us know in KL, high density, we will say 2,500 unit is high density, right? it is not even about the number. It is about the connectivity. You see, if there is 2,500 units in the same compound, right? But no one drives. Everyone walk to the MRT station in the morning, right?
Yep.
Would there be jam or not? There won't be jam because people walk out. The same gate, right? Can 50 people walk out at the same time? But if 2,500 people, every one of them drive a car, in the morning, you do not need to go out already. You understand or not? It's not the number of people. Yeah, it is the infrastructure. In Hong Kong, for example, you will never find a so-called flat which is 1,000 unit. You will never find, right? In Penang, people say 1,000 unit. Wow, so high density. In Hong Kong, the typical number probably 8,000, 12,000. Yeah, that is the typical number. They don't say it's high density. They think it's fine, right? Because it depends on what is their lifestyle. If you are walking to the MRT station, no issues, right? So the population here, if you look at how the Penang Transport Master Plan is, it involves getting more people to stay, but also to make sure the traffic jam does not become worse. Yeah. So it means that the lifestyle will have to change. They would somehow force people not to drive. They will force you to only drive during weekends, for example. Probably Singapore will be a very good example to follow, right? I think you know in Singapore, they make it so expensive that you cannot drive. Yeah, it's not whether you want to drive or you don't want to drive. You cannot drive.
The road tax is very expensive.
Yeah, 1 hour, the parking, 1 hour, 5 Sing dollars, right? So if you park one whole day, it's 50 Sing dollars. It's crazy. Who would want to drive, right? If you work and you park your car every day, it's 1,000 plus Sing dollar every month. So they make you until if you don't earn that very, very high, you don't drive. Yeah, something which when Penang's connections are ready, I think that is something which Penang have to do, right? Otherwise, if you don't push that, then everyone will still drive, right? Even if I go to Penang, if you ask me, I will still drive. Yeah. In fact, remember there was this one time when we wanted to have the LRT, and then they were getting some feedback from people, right? I asked 10 friends, 10 WhatsApp friends, 10. I said, if from your house you walk to the LRT station, it's 200 meters, right?
Yep.
Every day, will you do that? 10 friends, 10, zero. Not even one person will do that. You get my meaning or not? Because this is a lifestyle change. And a lifestyle change, it will not happen unless you push for the change, right? It's the same as Singapore. So many people say Singapore is, everywhere you go, you can take MRT. I tell you, you go and ask the Singaporean whether if the same choice, same price, same everything is the same, two choices. One, they drive. One, they take MRT. You tell me they say MRT, then I say all the best to you lah. Because if two person go out, they walk to the MRT station or the bus station, let's say it's 200 meters, they will need to walk, right? And then they will need to wait. And then the MRT comes, they will need to stand. And then they arrive at the city center, Orchard Road, for example, is 40 minutes away. They have to stand all the way. Come back, stand, right? And all the shop things, their shopping tracks, bags, they will have to carry for 200 meters to walk back to their house. Right? And this is if it doesn't rain. If it rains, then who will carry the umbrella? Right? And this is if they have no kids. If they have one baby, the mother will have to take the baby. The father will go crazy. You understand or not? People don't understand the convenience. What is convenience? Convenience is when you drive. However, if they have the LRT or the MRT ready, then the government have to do the part lah, right? Please take the MRT. Of course, if you say you want to drive, can. This is the parking fee. right? This is the whatever fee. You drive lah. So the government take that money and subsidize all the poor people to take the MRT, for example, right?
Correct. Also, I want to ask, because right now we're talking about how great Penang is. So for people from other states, should they consider Penang property in the long run, such as to retire in Penang or invest in Airbnb or buy a place and rent it out monthly? Like if they're not from Penang, what do you think?
Yeah, so if they are not from Penang and they intend to buy a place for Airbnb, for example, right? One of the very, very first few things that they have to do is they go to Penang and they stay in Airbnb, right? So the Airbnb that they stay in, if they love it, they can then understand what is the price, right? What is the price? And then they can now do some calculation. Okay, if I rent out 6 nights, if I rent out 8 nights, what will happen, right? So all these are due diligence that you cannot just have a blanket where, can buy. Doesn't happen that way, right? So for example, the first time I bought a property in out of Penang was in Kelana Jaya. Okay, so how did I come to buy the property in Kelana Jaya? Did I listen to people? Actually, not really. So every time I go to KL to visit my friends or to go to a mall for shopping or to do anything at all, right? I will stay in Kelana Jaya, okay, in my wife's best friend's house, a condo, right?
Okay.
I stay there and I stay there and I stay there and I understand the area and I understand the condo, and then I go and look for the condo price. 183,000 compared to Penang, okay, wow. At that time, Penang 183,000, I cannot buy anything, right? So I thought, yeah, let's buy. But that is because I have already done the homework, right? So after I bought, yeah, I was able to rent it out easily. After a few years, another mall, Paradigm Mall, was built right next to it. So the prices times 2.5. Yeah. So all these are things that you must do, right? So of course, if you say, hey, maybe I buy this for retirement. Have you visited Penang enough that you think, hey, when I retire, I want it to be here, right?
Right.
I once spoke to one Hong Kong couple, right? Hong Kong, huh? The couple says, I want to retire in Penang. Not bad, ma. Retire in Penang, right? And then I asked them, so where do you want to stay? They say, must 望到海啊. Must be able to see the sea, right? So you see, when they say this, right, it means that they must stay somewhere along Tanjung Bunga lah, or Batu Free lah, or whatever, right? It can't be Sungai Arab. What hoi do you want to see, right? Yeah. So all these depend on what you want, right? So for example, if you say, I just want a very quiet place, right? Penang is not really that quiet lah, to be very frank. Yeah, Penang is not really that quiet. Every festivity, every major holiday, Penang is not quiet one. So that may be something that you have to think about, right? But if you say, okay, can I buy a place which I will visit occasionally? Yeah, then it depends on whether you can hold on to it when it cannot be rented out, right? Because in Penang, unfortunately, the rental is not that high when compared to the property price that you buy, right? And of course, Airbnb would very, very dependent on the area. Not all area can do Airbnb, and not all residential. Actually, residential they cannot do Airbnb lah. If you do Airbnb, that's illegal lah, right? So all these consideration and the due diligence, it's very hard to have a blanket kind of thing that okay can buy, right? Even in KL, for example, you have been staying in KL for some time. Not all places can do Airbnb, right? And even assuming they can do Airbnb, not all places people love to stay there.
Correct.
Right? They walk down, nothing. They cannot go to MRT. Very hard. Not all places, right? All these, the person will have to do their own homework lah. Cannot just ask Gwendoline, Gwendoline, can I buy this A or this B or this C? And then you say, it's A or B or C. No lah, can't do that. Yeah, let them do their homework. Let them think about it and decide. Yeah.
True. So, do you think the demand for Penang property is high?
Demand for Penang property has always been there lah, right? But the issue with the last few years is very simple. everyone was trying to build ever more expensive condos, right? That was one of the key issue. Actually, if you look at Penang, right, today, even today, if a developer were to build a condo, right, and price it at, let's say, 350,000, right, it will sell. It will still sell. Yeah, of course, you don't build somewhere in Batu Kawan or whatever yet. But if you build in the areas where everyone loves, right, it will still sell. What this tells you is that demand is there, right? But why some of the supply cannot be sold is because of the mismatch in demand and supply, right? So people want to buy, but people cannot buy the 700,000, cannot buy the 800,000. Then you build, it's sure it's still there lah. So this is some of the things that is happening. Even in KL, for example, they say, oversupply. Actually, you have never seen the developer who launches, let's say, in Shah Alam area, right? Landed property, 400 plus thousand. Is 1 weekend finish already. Yeah, demand is there. But if they were to launch the same property, 800,000, yeah, no need to sell lah. You get my meaning, right? So if you ask whether there is demand, there is demand. Yeah, but whether the property is correct or not, that one is secondary lah.
Okay, so what is your suggestion for people who wants to buy a property in Penang? Which area will you suggest them to look into for, let's say, future investment purposes?
Yeah, first of all, right, if you're buying because you want to stay in, then make sure it's close to where you work lah. Where you work is so important, because if it's very far away from where you work, you'll be suffering every day. Then I'm not sure whether that's a good buy anymore, right? So if you work in Bayan Baru, all those places like Teluk Kumba, Batu Maung, actually can buy, right? Many people may not think of it as the best place, right? Versus Tanjung Bunga or Pulau Tikus, that's not the best place, but it's near to your office. Yeah, when it's near to your office, it means that it is also near to many people's office, right?
Correct.
You can work there for 5 years. After 5 years, more people are coming to that area to work, right? People that come to that area to work, they may buy your property from you, right? And at that time, you can actually sell more higher, and then you move somewhere else, right? So, I mean, that is one of the key property investment thing. If you're buying for own stay, make sure it's close to where you work, right? So this is one of the key things that I always start off. And the second thing is to look at the price of the area, right? Penang, unfortunately, is a very small island. Unfortunately, right? You can say whatever you want, but the truth is, from Sungai Ara until this Gurney Mall, it only takes me 30 minutes if there's no jam lah, right? Correct. So it is small, but you see the price in this Gurney Mall, right, nearby condo, and the price in Sungai Ara condo, wow, so big difference, right?
Yeah.
So this is something that you have to bear in mind. Yeah. So for example, let's say the condos nearby Gurney is already 1 million, right? And Sungai Ara is at 500,000, for example. So half lah, right? If you're buying at 1 million, right, perhaps it may be better for you to buy the 500,000 one. Right? Because you can work in Georgetown and it's some distance, but your 500,000, the chance of it going up higher based on percentage is definitely there, right? Even when compared to 1 million, even assuming the 1 million goes to 1.2 million, right? Your 500,000 only needs to go to 610,000, and your percentage is already beaten the 1.2 billion property, right? So in terms of return, ROI, right? Return on investment, it is not based on the number, it is based on a percentage. Yeah, because you pay the same amount of money, you want a higher percent return. So this is some of the things that you may want to think about lah. Not just on the area itself, right? And by the way, buying a property and buying a stock is actually the same, right? When you go into the stock market, right? which are the stocks that you love the most? Those are the stocks that everyone loves the most, right? Everyone will know that this blue chip, this very good, this very good, this very good. By the way, if everyone already know that this is good, the price already go up lah, already, right? It is only when some people know, some people don't know. Yeah, maybe you can still find an undervalued stock there. It is the same as property one. That area, wow, I also want. Yeah, you can rest assured the price is already high. For sure, right? So how do you look at it is, if that area is already very high, you buy the surrounding area lah, right? Because the surrounding area, definitely the price is lower a little bit one. For sure it's lower a little bit, right? If you buy in at a lower price, when this center area goes up, your price just follow. It's as simple as that. Can't run away. It's like Tanjung Bunga so expensive, right? You buy Tanjung Tokong, right? Right? Lautico's sure expensive, right? Then you buy nearer to Georgetown, right? You know that Sungai Arang is going up, right? You buy Batu Maung, right? You know Batu Maung is going up, right? You buy Teluk Kumba, for example, right? Yeah, all these are some of the investment, because unfortunately, none of us have unlimited amount of money. All of us have a limited amount of money that we will think how to use, right? Yeah, so this is very important.
Okay, so this brings me to my question. What is the ROI percentage like for properties in Penang in general?
Oh, very hard to say. So ROI, if you look at return from the based on property, with investment property price, right? But actually this is not so important, because in property investment, many people say the return is very low.
Yep.
And it takes a very long time, right?
Yep.
By the way, this is very untrue. So a lot of all these unit trust people always say that, yeah, your property price, the return is almost the same as my unit trust, right? Is very untrue lah. So assuming we assume a very, very easy to understand formula. Assuming your property price is 100,000, right? How much do you pay for the down payment? Assuming your 100,000 property.
10%. 10K.
Right. So it's 10K lah. Correct.
Yeah.
Right. So 10K, 10K. If you invest in the property market, it is 100,000 property, right? If you invest a 10K in unit trust, right? Is it 10K or is it 100K? Unit trust.
My math's very bad.
Right? If you use the 10K to invest in stock market, is 10K or 100K? Is 10K. Right? So when you invest 10K in unit trust or in stock market, right? Your return is based on 10K. Correct? Right? Assuming your unit trust is so awesome, your stock also so awesome, double-digit return, 10%. What is 10%? 1,000.
1K. Yeah.
1K lah, huh? Wow, 10,000, 1K, wow. Property is 100,000, right? Right?
Yep.
What's the inflation rate like?
Very high.
3%, assuming, right? Government say 3%. We know it's higher, but never mind. Government say it's 3%. Fine, 3%. So the property price only increased by 3%. What is 3%? Of 100,000?
3,000.
You know what I'm meaning? Yeah. So you bought a property and you pay 10,000, remember? And the return at the end of 1 year is 3,000 extra. You see or not?
Yep.
Property already give you 3,000 return. 3,000 divided by 10,000 is 30% return. 30, right? Of course, now people will say, no lah, Charles, you need to pay the lawyer fee lah, stamp duty lah, whatever. Totally understand. Which is the reason why property investment as an illiquid asset must be a long-term investment. Once it's a long-term investment, your so-called return would naturally be high, as long as you don't buy in, the wrong property lah, right? Yeah. Otherwise, it would definitely be great one. Because the increase is based on property price. The increase is not based on your investment amount. Yeah. And leverage is only available for property investment.
Okay.
Of course, people may say, "Hey, Charles, you have a lot of property investment, so you definitely pro property investment." By the way, I have been investing in unit trust for a very, very long time, and I'm a public mutual gold customer. I have been investing in the stock market for a very long time, and I have a lot of stocks that I still keep today, right? So this is one of the key reasons. By the way, I am not a real estate agent. I am not a real estate negotiator, so there is no need for me to push property up, because there is nothing, no gain for me, right? It's not like, hey, tell me what I can buy and then I get a commission. I don't get that, right?
Correct. Charles is a writer. He's also a speaker. So if you guys want to follow him, can follow him on copyandproperty.com. .com. So you guys can check it out. He writes a lot there. And then if you guys have anything at all, you guys can comment and then ask him some questions as well. So which brings us to our next question that I think everybody wants to know, because during these times, people say 2020 is the time. 2020 is the prime time for Malaysia. Unfortunately, MCO happened, COVID-19, things that we cannot predict. But is it a right time? I think everyone will ask you this question.
Yeah.
Hey, Charles, is this the right time to go into property? Is it the right time to buy a property now?
Yeah. When I first started investing in property, my friend tell me it is not the right time. Okay, that was in year 2002. Then in year 2004, I bought my second property. The same friend say it is not the right time, right? And then when I buy another property out of Penang, the same person says, you are not in KL, you buy in KL for what? You better buy in Penang. I tell you, there is no such thing as the best time. There is only such a thing as a good property. So if you found a good property, it is a good time, right? And of course, if you really, really force me to choose, then I will tell you the best time was 20 years ago, right? That was the best time. If only 20 years ago, I can buy so many properties. Today, I do not need to work, right? It doesn't happen, right? Timing, and if you look at 2020, actually, we did not even have the property market slowing down in 2019, right? Property market, whether in Penang, whether in KL, the property transactions start to go down in 2013, 2013, right? 2013 go down, 2014 go down, 2015 go down, keep going down the transaction, right?
Correct.
When is the best time? Can you tell me the best time or not? So it is the good property, it is not the timing, right? And if you ask me, Charles, what if I buy this year, can I sell next year? Then I tell you better buy stocks lah, right? Not property, right? Don't focus on the timing so much. Focus on the right price to enter, right property to buy. That is even more important, right? And today is a very good time, because with the transaction going down, with all the sentiment being negative, the property price I do not think will be increasing lah, right? So this is like a breathing space for a lot of people. Sometimes we work so hard, our salary cannot catch up. Actually, this couple of years will be a good time for the salary to catch up a little bit, for the property price to just slow down a little bit. Enough lah, right? The property price is not so high already. Now they should just stay put, don't move, right? While I start to chase.
Okay. So like, there's a person who asked us, is affordable homes in Penang really affordable? As we say that, Penang property price is going up, and then there's no right time to buy. Like just do your research and purchase, right? So what do you think about the affordable homes in Penang? Are they really affordable?
Yeah. So the first question I asked for this person is, the affordable home you are buying because you think you want to rent out or you think you want to stay, right? If the affordable home you think you want to rent out, I don't think any affordable home is that good, right? Because affordable home, unfortunately and fortunately, is not for those investors. It is supposed to be for the first-time homeowner, right? So if the question is, oh, I'm a first-time homeowner, should I buy an affordable house? Yeah, why not? If it's in the right location, sure, you should buy one, right? Then of course the question I always get asked is this: hey Charles, actually this affordable home 350,000 you think it can increase in price? Then I will look at the person. I ask you back, You don't ask me first. I ask you back. Will the salary go down or not? Salary go down or not? Go on. This year, your company pays you 5,000. Next year, pay you 4,008. The next year, pay you 4,005. Go or not?
No.
First. Second, the material cost, the cement the steel will the material cost, will go down or go up? Second question. Third question, the land price, right? How many times have you seen, this one used to be $50 per square feet. Now it become 35. Next year become 20 per square feet. Land price goes up or come down? Goes up, right? So you can see all the input costs sure go up. When the input cost goes up, the price would have to go up, right? Okay, perhaps they can still say 10 years later, the affordable house is still 350,000. Okay, 10 years later, right? Still 350,000. What has happened?
The price never increased, never increased at all. Something is wrong.
Something is wrong is one thing, but maybe the size is half already. Yeah, now the size might be 900 square feet. The size at that time is 350,000. The size may be just half, maybe 600 square feet, right? You look at mommy, everyone look at mommy, right? Everyone knows mommy, mommy, the mommy. When I was young, the mommy was 20 cents, right? 20 cents, but the mommy was big, right? I also eat until I think, wow, so much, right? Today, the mommy is almost at 20 cents, but my son won't even share with my daughter. You understand or not? So did mommy increase to 2 ringgit? No. Mommy maintained almost the same price. But from this size to this size, right?
Yeah.
Property is also the same. They can maintain the price, but they will reduce the size. They will reduce the quality. They will reduce the design, right? And they will build very, very far away. Yeah. So all continue to happen. And by the way, unfortunately, Malaysia is not going to witness all this happening first. All this will happen in all the advanced countries, advanced cities first. But what will happen is that the city center will become expensive and people will build further and further away, right? So there's always a compromise. You want to maintain the price, you reduce everything else. You don't want to reduce everything else, the price will have to increase. There's no other choice, unless the salary goes down, the material cost goes down, the land price goes down. Yeah, that is another story. But otherwise, no, unfortunately.
Okay. So we want to know, what will it be for the property market in the next half of 2020 for overall Malaysia? Let's have a look.
Yeah, I think there's not much action You look at the MCO. Actually, when the MCO is over, right? Assuming May 1st, hey, holiday, all of us can go out already. No more MCO. You tell me, will you go to the cinema to watch a movie on the 1st of May, right after MCO? You dare or not? Yeah. Even if you say I want to cut hair, right? Yeah, cut hair, right? On the 1st of May, you go to your hairstylist. As you see inside the hairstylist, full of people. You still want to cut your hair or you go home? You
Go home.
go home. You go to the mall. You say, hey, I have 2 months never go to the mall. I want to go to the mall. You arrive at the mall, you see the entrance full of people. You go home or you go to the mall? You
Go
think
home.
right? Yeah. So even though MCO is pulled back, the normalization will take time, right? It will take time for people to get used back. Okay, I used to go more every week. Now I want to go back to more every week. This will take time. Yeah, definitely will take time. So when all this takes time, right, the property transaction won't be moving like crazy unless they do some some special promotion like a home ownership campaign or whatever. Otherwise, it is just based on the market. The normalization will take some time. And this is just Malaysia, everyone. This is just Malaysia because if you look at the COVID-19, it is not affecting just Malaysia. It's affecting the world, right? So assuming by May 1st, our case go down tremendously. So we are near to 0 case. Yeah. But America may still have few 100,000 cases, right? The Europe may still have few 100,000 cases. So when all these countries continue to have cases, it is very hard for a country like Malaysia to be going up because we need to export, right? All these countries all have problems. They all face lockdown. You think they can import from you? So when they don't import from you, you cannot export to them. Same law, your economic growth won't move. When your economic growth won't move, the property market won't move a lot. Yeah. So all these will take some time lah. To me, if you're looking at 6 months, right? I think 6 months we are not going to see any huge change. I don't foresee, right? Probably if you are talking about middle of next year, right? When everything can be normalized. Yeah, I think by middle of next year, if everything is fine, I think it should be back to normal, right? So you will already go back to your mall. A few days you go to the mall, you go to the hairstylist. I think by then it should be more normalized already, right? Of course, if they say by end of this year vaccine is found, right? Then your normalization is even faster, right? If they say but vaccine not to be found yet at the moment none yet, which means that other countries still have it, right? Malaysia may have it again, right? So that is one of the key things that we must understand. It is not just, MCO is over, then everyone, go back. I don't think so, right? Even I think my kids, I will force them to wear masks. I will wear masks. My wife will wear masks, right? All this will happen. Will happen for a while, at least for a few months. And the few months is after the world is okay. No, the few months is not after Malaysia is okay, right? After the world is okay, a few more months, then everyone okay lah. I think it's safe already lah, right? So if it's just Malaysia, no, we are too small a country to affect so much change. Yeah.
Okay, so we have some questions from our viewers. Rahman has 2 questions, but we'll go one by one. So his first question is, how many % is the difference in prices between property in Penang and KL?
Actually very hard to say, but of course, if you ask me, property prices in let's say in Straits Key, right? So Straits Key is not considered a low price area, even when compared to, let's say, KL Mont Kiara. Actually, Straits Key is not that cheap, even when compared to KL's Mont Kiara. Yeah. So comparison between state may be very, very hard to do, right? But if you say, are there more choices in the Klang Valley? Yeah, there are definitely more choices in the Klang Valley, right? So all these are things that we need to understand. But if you look at the median property price, I think median property price wise, KL is higher median. Yeah, that means the most of the transactions are happening at what price? I think KL is higher because if I'm not mistaken, KL is the highest throughout Malaysia. It's even like over 100,000 higher than Selangore's median property price. So definitely it's higher than a Penang median property price, right? But if you look at area versus area, let's say Straits Key versus Mont Kiara, actually no big difference lah. No big difference, right? Mont Kiara probably 800 to 1,002 per square feet. Straits Key is almost like that. Yeah, it's not like your Straits Key is a 400 per square feet, because if Straits Key is 400 per square feet, I will buy Straits Key again lah. So it's not like that lah.
Okay, so his second question is, if staying in Penang is a good choice, why people from Penang still want to work in KL? Is there not many job opportunity in Penang? If it's true, how can it be a good choice to stay?
Yeah. Okay. Everyone, please understand. Good choice to stay and good choice to work may not be the same. Yeah. Please understand that. Right? If you ask me, where would I love to stay? I would tell you Ipoh lah. Right? And if you ask me again, where is after Ipoh, where would you think you want to stay? If you tell me more quiet where I can walk to the Pasar, right? Pasar, right? Penang lah, definitely Penang lah, right? But then, why am I in KL, right? Of course, it's for the career opportunity, right? And I'm not from the engineering background, right? So I'm from the business background, and I'm usually in the online sector, right? So if you're looking at online sector, the number of opportunity, KL lah, right? You can say, Penang also got this one company there, this one company there. KL is like this, right? Penang is like this, right? But if you say, I'm an engineer, right? Then Penang has this. Penang don't lose out. It depends on what you want, what you are aspiring to do, right? It is not about, on general, right? Just because your friend moved to KL doesn't mean you should move to KL, right? What do you want to do? So if this person says, I want to go up the career in the financial institution, frankly speaking lah, KL lah, you cannot move up to the financial HQ to have a high position HQ if you are in Penang, right? In Penang, probably you can be a branch manager, but that is about it, right? Or a regional manager. That's about it, right? If you say I want to be a group VP, be frank, right? KL lah, But if you say I want to be a engineering head, right, for an American multinational, right, and I get paid, let's say 40,000, 50,000 a month, Penang has it You don't need to move elsewhere Penang has it, right? What do you want? Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is from Muhammad Sahaja. He asks, is property development in Penang rising too fast?
Frankly, property development everywhere was rising too fast, right? But if the question is the supply too many based on the demand? The answer is no. Yeah, answer is no, right? If you don't believe me, go to Penang, right? Think of 10 of your friends and ask them, do they have a property? If you tell me 9 out of 10 of them have a property, then yes, I think stop developing already. But today, you just ask your peers, you will understand that more than half don't have a property yet, right? So this is a key reason. And then, of course, you may want to say, no, they don't have a property because they want to rent. They don't want to buy. Wow, very good, right? Who do they rent from, You mean they rent from the roadside, or they rent from under the bridge? They need to rent from someone, right? And the someone must have a property, right? Yeah. So the demand is still higher than the supply. But the mismatch in demand and supply is pretty bad, right? So a lot of people want to buy, but the price is here. This is where they want, right? This mismatch is very high at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. So another one from Fadila Sufyan. We have lots of questions, so we slowly go through one by one.
Wow,
okay. Yeah, a lot. So like Fadila Sufyan asks, as a first-time home buyer or newlywed couple, would you recommend to buy a property in Penang? Is it convenient since everything is there? So
yeah. Fadila, where do you work? If you work in Penang, definitely buy in Penang right? The first property to me, right? I'm not sure many others will have opinions, but to me, the first property should be where you work, right? That should be where you buy, because it is best for you to have a property close to where you work, because you will know the area much better than anyone else, right? I would not know whether that area is good for you, but you would know, right? When you go out from your house, you know, that restaurant I love a lot, right? That bank I go to a lot. That Shell station I always go to pump my fuel. Buy the property there. It's as simple as that, because it meets all your expectation, right? So if you're working in Penang and the place that you found is near to your office, yeah, by all means, buy the place rather than rent. Buy the place, right? And if you say but if I buy a place, then I may not be able to pay the mortgage. If you cannot pay the mortgage, don't buy, right? But if you can pay the mortgage, assuming you are single, right? Assuming you're single and you can pay the mortgage, buy and then rent out one of the room to some of your colleagues, for example, right? So if you are paying 1,200, you rent out one of the room for 400, technically you only pay 800 for a property which is 1,200, right? That can be one of the strategies that you do, right? So the property investment is not just I buy and then I suffer, right? You think about the solution for it, right? A little bit, yeah. Or if you say, oh, where I work, the property is too expensive, fine, go out a little bit, right? Extra 5 kilometers away. Then you'll find, God, 30% cheaper already. Buy the 30% cheaper lah. The extra 5K won't kill you. Yeah.
All right. So there's another one from Chuck Soon. If cases for COVID are not coming down, or presumably second and third wave, do you see chances of default on existing project, especially boutique developer that do not have strong cash flow?
I don't want to comment on developer, because I'm not sure of the actual cash flow, because many people say boutique developer, they may not survive, but actually a lot of boutique developer, they only have one project, right? Which means that if they are able to at least sell 60 or 70%, the remaining 30% they can do slowly, right? I don't think there's any cash flow issue, but more importantly is the owner themselves, right? The owner, right? Whether COVID-19 will affect the owners or not depends on whether the owners still have a job or not, right? So you just imagine, Gwendolyn, if you have a property, right? You have a property, you still have a job, property queen loves you, they pay you good salary, right?
Yeah.
You bought the property for 300,000, right? Suddenly, house comes to you and say, hey, COVID-19 so bad. Gwendolyn, sell your property to me 200,000. You will tell me, Charles, you go fly kite. Right? Because you have a job, right?
Yeah.
Why do you need to sell cheaper? Right?
Correct.
So if the question is, would the property prices be coming down? It depends on the job market, right? If the person still have a job, if the company is still paying the salary, the person won't sell cheaper, right? And then if you look at why are some properties people sell cheaper? That is not because of COVID. That is because of personal finance, right? The person may have already personal finance issue. The credit card debt may have been very high, for example. It is not because of COVID-19, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So this is something which we must understand, that there's a huge difference. Yeah.
Okay, so Go Yu Chuan, he asked luxury condo 200K below developer's cost. So he wanted to know, should he keep his cash, or he should buy a luxury property now below developer cost of 200K?
Yeah, okay. Whether it's below property price, whether it's how many discount, the first question is always were the prices too high in the first place, right? Even 20% is not that high. Some developers in KL, for example, they can get 35%, 40% discount. The question is not on the discount, everyone. The question is on the price. Was it too high in the first place, right? So how do you know whether the price was too high? Very, very easy. You look at the condo price that they want to sell you, and then you look at the surrounding area. All the condo in the surrounding area, right? If all the condo in the surrounding area are higher price, and this one is lower price by 20%, hey, that is below market, right? But if this condo price without the 20% discount is 20% higher than everyone else in the whole area, the price is already overvalued in the first place. So after they reduce 20%, then it becomes a market price. When it becomes a market price, it's your decision already, right? You love the luxury condo, buy lah, right? But if you say, I buy because I buy 20% so that later when COVID-19 is over, it will go up by 20%, it won't happen. Because the whole market is that level, right? It won't be that only your particular condo go up by 20%, then everyone is not happening. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen that way, right? So you should understand whether the price is equivalent or not first. If it's not, what is the discount being given to you, right? Yeah.
Yep. So one last question by Vincent Gabriel Xia. He is, I think he's your fan. He's been commenting and all that throughout the whole session. Yeah. So his question to you is, what's your golden advice for new joiners entering into property investment?
First of all is to buy something you can afford. Do not overstretch. What is most important is that if you don't overstretch, right? 5 years down the road, 6 years down the road, your property price would have gone up. You can then buy another property, and this first property that you bought, which is the lower price, you can rent out, right? This is what they call by upgrade later on, right? This happens in all all countries. It's not just Malaysia, right? So if you buy something which you can afford and you are staying in it, that is a buy already, right? And property investment, always understand, property investment is not stock investment. Yeah, property investment is also not unit trust. Unit trust and stock is awesome because it's very liquid, right? You buy now, you sell tomorrow, for example, no issue, right? Property cannot, right? You need to, even if you say I want to buy a property today, right? The day you get your keys, it's like 4 months down the road. It's not like I sign today, tomorrow you give me key. Cannot happen that way, right? And this is property, right? And assuming next time you want to sell, you also cannot say I want to sell, you want to buy, I give you the key. Also cannot. It will be 4 months down the road before you can give the key. Right? Yeah. So this is a huge difference, the huge gulf of difference between liquid assets and illiquid asset. Property investment is an illiquid asset. So it should be risk reduced by understanding what you need. Yeah.
Okay. So I think one more from Winston Liang. He calls you Charles Coco. How you see the 4 island built at Batu Mau area? Sorry, again? He says, Charles Coco, how you see the 4 islands built at Batu Mau area?
Batu Mau as an area is okay it's growing right? Because if you can see, if you can see how Queens Bay has helped the whole area as a catalyst, actually it's moving up And then if you look at the Bayan Lepas industrial area, are there more people working there? Yes, there are more people working there nowadays, right? If you want to understand, it's very simple. When the MCO is over, you just go to Job Street and then you find under Penang and then you find manufacturing jobs. You understand that, wow, a lot of people are still hiring to be based there. Then the more people based there, that means they have to find somewhere to stay right? And for those people who are based in Bayan Lepas, for example, staying in Batu Kawan is a little bit far unless you want to change your lifestyle, whereby you come in very early in the morning and go back later than the usual rush hour. Otherwise, it's still far when compared to Batu Mau, for example, right? So these are some of the considerations. So if you say, I'm buying Batu Mau because I want the tourists to come and they stay at my condo, that is an entirely different story altogether. Because the tourists, they may want convenience. So if they want to visit somewhere in Georgetown, for example, they are not going to stay in Batu Mau, frankly speaking. Right? So if they want to visit someone who is in hospital, right, in the private hospital, and the private hospital is somewhere in Bayan Lepas or Bayan Baru, Batu Mau can be a choice, right? But if it's, let's say, it's in Adventist, for example, they won't stay in Batu Mau, frankly speaking, right? You will be crazy, right? I visit my relative go there 40 minutes, then come back 40 minutes. Cuckoo, right? Yeah. So it depends on what is the purpose that you want. Yeah, very important.
All right. So our time is almost up. So Charles, is there anything that our viewers should take away today from our sharing, from your sharing?
Yeah. I think most important thing is that, when you talk about Penang, people may ask you, hey, Charles, you based in KL already? Do you still have Penang properties? Right? Yes, I still have Penang properties. Right? I think that is already a very important testament, right? A testimony from me. Yeah, I still have Penang properties. Right? And this is the key thing that is very important, because the speaker may come and tell you everything good about Penang, and then you ask, you got Penang properties or not? I don't have Penang properties. What are you talking about, right? I still have Penang properties. I have Penang properties in Sungai Ara. I have Penang properties in Tanjung Tokong, right? And I definitely will consider to buy a property in Penang if the right kind of investment comes along, right? But of course, if you ask me, within this year, probably my decision is to buy more liquid assets rather than property investment, right? Because I think just ensuring that the economy is strong again, right? But this is for investment, right? If you are looking for a property as a own stay, never mind one. Whatever O, like MCO, whatever O, you can still buy, yeah? Because it's for your own stay. If you are renting a place, you are making the owner rich. Why are you making the owner rich? Right? You should at least have back the money to you. Don't make just the owner rich. You can also be rich, right? Right? And last but not least, everyone, when you look at the property, right, it's always the biggest expense that you ever have. Not just now, right? When you retire, right? When you retire, the salary stops coming in. Correct or not?
Yeah.
Huh? Do you still want to pay rental every month or not?
No.
Yeah, right? So that is a fundamental issue, because when you retire, the money stops. If you own the property, at least you don't pay rental and you can stay for free, right? If you don't own the property, you will have to pay rental. And assuming, right? Assuming the property rental never increase, right? What is the typical condo rental today, Gwendolyn?
Condo rental if PJ, then a few, I think 1,002, 1,004 in
Yeah,
PJ.
okay. Assuming it does not change at all, right? Assuming 20 years later or 30 years later, when you retire, the rental is still 1,005. Assuming, right? Not going to happen now, but never mind. We just assume the rental die stay at 1,005, right? 1,005 times 12 is 18,000 every year.
Yeah.
Every year 18,000. Malaysians, we don't say goodbye so early nowadays, So long time ago, usually we will say goodbye to this world maybe 60, 65 years old, we will say bye-bye already, right? Today, you typically live to 75, right? 30 years later, you will live to 85 one. For sure, you will live to 85 one, right? When you retire, what age? 60 right? So assuming you don't retire at 60, you work until 65, right? 65 to 85 is still 20 years. 18,000 every year for 20 years. Are you crazy? Yeah. Why?
Use the money to buy a property.
Yes, right? Yeah. So everyone must understand, when the money stops coming in, you better be having free stay, because if you don't have free stay, pity you right? pity you, right? So it's so important. It's not even now, it's for the future, right? And we live longer nowadays. Malaysians are living ever longer. Somehow we just don't want to say goodbye, right? We live to 75 and then 80 and then 85. We just don't say goodbye, right? It's a medical improvement as well, right? So the lifestyle improvement and everything, yeah.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. I think everyone took home a lot from your sharing today. Very charismatic, very full of substance and content. I think every youngster who tuned into this live today learned something, and we are gonna take it home and we're gonna digest it, and we're gonna put it to work. So thank you so much, Charles, for sharing with us. So if you guys like this live, make sure to follow Charles on copyandproperty.com. Follow him if you guys have any question, and I think he will be very happy to answer you. He gives advice as well. He does auctioning as well. Make sure to follow him, and if he does give a speech or anything at all, make sure to go and support him. Okay, he's done speeches in a lot of countries, in Malaysia, Singapore. He's also done trainings. So really just follow him, and of course if you're on Toastmasters, follow him as well. Thank you so much, Charles. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.